Okie dokie guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to get your Linux operating system. Now this is going to be for two things. One, you can either use a VM that Hack the Box gives you, or you can actually build your own Linux computer. I'm going to be showing you how to dual boot and or just write the entire operating system on a computer. So let's get into it. The very first thing we're going to need is a CD drive or a USB drive. So here I'm just going to insert my USB drive here, and it's right there. So second thing we're going to need is Balenaetcher. Let's see, Balenaetcher. It's going to be this one right here, and let's just go onto the website for you. Download Balenaetcher. So this should be the website, and I will put a link in the description. You can download your different types here, and they do have an installation for Linux also. So download that. And then what we're going to need to do is download Parrot OS. We are going to be downloading Parrot OS. You can do this with any Linux distribution, but since we're doing Hack the Box, we're going to do the Hack the Box type of Parrot OS. The security type is pretty similar to Hack the Box, but obviously a few differences there. So now we're going to download. The main thing that you're looking for in the download, if I click on download here, is .iso, because ISO is a different type of download. So it's a disk image. I don't remember what ISO stands for, but basically it's a disk image that is going to allow your computer's hardware to read it as an operating system, and that's what's going to be used for the operating system on the computer. So go ahead, download that, and then what you're going to do is open up Balenaetcher. And as soon as it's opened, what you're going to do is you're going to say like flash from file. So then you're going to find that ISO file, and you're going to open that. And so from here, you're going to select your target image. Now, this is going to be your CD or USB that you just put into your computer. So you can see that it's going to be this one right here. And just make sure to note your name if you have multiple disks in there. So as soon as you select that, then you're going to click on flash, and it's going to immediately start your flashing. So you can see right there, and then I'll need to put in my password, but once it's done, then you can just eject the disk. I'm not going to do it, I've already done it. So now let's move on to having already downloaded it. Alrighty guys, so now you're going to take that USB that you just downloaded Parrot OS onto, and you're just going to put it into that computer. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn the computer on, and we're going to just spam F12. Now we're going to boot into the BIOS, and usually F12 is the one to do that. It's commonly F12, it can also be F11, F2, and F1, and on some computers, mainly gaming computers, it is delete. So now here's what you're going to do. You are going to see in the BIOS menu that you can use your arrows to go up, down, left, right, and enter, and then you can also use escape for back. Now, the secure boot mode up at the top in yellow, that is important. Usually secure boot mode is set to on. If it is, you may need to turn it off. And all you do for that is go down to the very bottom, enter, and then you would change it to the mode that is on. I'm not going to do that, so we'll just go back to the beginning. Now, the one that you are looking for, this computer is currently running Windows. So the top one right here is Windows. I want to boot into the USB, so that's going to be this one right here. So then once you enter that, it's going to take you into the setup part of installation. Alrighty guys, so I didn't get a very good picture from here, but basically you're going to click on this file over here, and that's going to set up the installation guide. It's really self-explanatory. However, The only important thing is you have to understand whether or not you want to completely wipe the entire operating system or if you want to dual boot. And that's explained on the screen, so I'm going to let you figure that out. It's basically just reading. But basically, a dual boot is where you can either use Windows or Linux, or you could use Kali Linux or Parrot OS Linux, but you're basically booting into two different operating systems. Or you can just wipe the entire drive and only have one operating system. There's on-screen instructions for that. They explain it really well in the installation guide, so I'm going to let you guys figure that one out. Alrighty guys, so now we're going to actually need to install the VPN. So we can just open up our web browser. Firefox comes pre-installed on Linux machines. So if you look down here below the search bar, you can see we have all these saved tabs. These come pre-saved on all Parrot OS machines. So if we click on Hack the Box down there, then it will just take us to our labs. We're going to have to sign in first though. So now that the page loaded, we'll just click on sign in here at the top. It's going to act like it signed us in, but it's going to give us an error, and we're just going to have to put in our credentials back here. So as soon as we get our sign in correct, it's going to take us to the dashboard. So once we're here at the dashboard, we're going to click on Labs over here and then on Starting Point, because we're going to need to connect to the Starting Point VPN. Looking around, nope, not this one. Yeah, we'll click on this one and go right here. I mean, technically it doesn't matter because, like I said, we're connecting to the Starting Point VPN. So down here you can click on the red Connect to HTB and then Open VPN and select your protocol. It really doesn't matter, but I'm going to go with UDP just as a default. So now you just wait till that has downloaded and you can select where you want it. I'm just going to select my home directory here. That way I can just leave it as the default and it's easy to access in the future. So as soon as you choose that, we can now just minimize this window here and we will open up the bash, the terminal here. Here's our Parrot terminal. Now we're going to use a command called ls. This is for listing directories. And you can see we have our Starting Point VPN right here. So now you're going to need a command to start the VPN. Make sure that you are looking at the right thing, and the command is sudo, and then space that, and open VPN. And then after that, put a space and write out your file, and that's going to be the VPN file. So this one is going to be Starting Point, and then yada yada yada, whatever your name is, that's just what you're going to click on the download. When we put in our password here, if we type it in correctly, then we should get a bunch of gibberish here. So which is going to say waiting for authentication. And then at the very end, if you see initialization sequence completed, then that means that you know it worked correctly. So if we come back here to Hack the Box and we refresh the page, we can see that we are in the red. We are offline. We're still in the red. It might just take a minute to get connected there. So we can see we're in the red. And if we refresh this page one more time, we should be in the green. Yeah, there we go. We're in the green. So now, like I said, we are connected to the Starting Point Hack the Box, which means we can use any one of these. We can use any one of these labs whenever we want, and there is no time limit. So that's the great part about this. Well, okay, so now we get into the second part of this, where instead, if you don't want to have a whole computer that is Linux, what you can do is just use a virtual machine that that Hack the Box gives us, in the web browser. And I'll show you what I mean by that right here. So if I go in here and I'm just put in my stuff, enter, go to labs, I go to starting point, okay, and here's what we're going to do. Imagine we want to connect to Meow. So we're going to connect to HTB, and then we're going to go down here to PWN box. Going to click on that one. Going to come down here to connect to PWN box. And look here, your own web-based Parrot Linux instance to play our labs. So they're literally going to give you an instance or a virtual machine, basically, and it's going to be in your web browser. So all I have to do is click where I am in the world. You can click wherever, whichever one of these. Try to get the closest to you because it's going to have the fastest time. So if I was in the United States, and I'd click Start PWN Box, and that would give me my instance. Now you do have to remember that you have a time limit on this. So you can also, if you finish the box, like if I were to finish Meow, then I don't think I could do that again, because it will often give me an error saying like you've used all of your PWN boxes, and I'm like, I have no idea why, you know. But I think it's just because I've done this one already.